Hey, how you doing?
Not bad yourself?
Good, good. I'm calling about this listing that you posted a couple days ago. 29.
Yep. I've already got the contract with that one. I've
Wow.
already got a full asking.
Really?
Yeah, full asking cash, close on the 21st of December. Are you on ZILLOW right now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 75k. It needs 10k in repair work. It's full of shit inside. Like, it's like, it needs clean out.
Wow.
And above the kitchen, above the kitchen was the bathroom, and the ceiling has dropped a little bit there, so it just needs to be lifted, patched, and...
And what do you think it would retail for? Because I didn't run the numbers yet on that.
134.
134.
That's the cost for the area.
135?
If we're going to work together, I can maybe get that for 70.
Okay.
And you could probably put 10 to 15 into that, 15 tops.
Yeah.
And you refinance that, you're going to get, it's going to come back. ARV is definitely going to be like, it's a bit of a comps thing, it's going to be at least 125. It's a house thing, but so it's really worth 125 at least. And if you're coming from out of town, it can be a bit risky. These agents here are just ripping people off, like guys from New York. I've had some agents tell people, show them stuff in Philly that, no one would even touch it with a 10-foot pole. These guys in New York believe them because they got money and they think it's cheap, but it doesn't move.
Yeah, you gotta run the numbers. I feel like even if somebody shows you something, you gotta look at it.
I've just seen a few agents just take a few New Yorkers for a run. I can tell you what the comps are as well. You can even see what the comps are. You can see what things sell. I mean, I can't bullshit your comps because it's there. You can see what's sold.
Yeah, I'll do my homework. So I actually enjoy the research.
The numbers are great. You've got to know your numbers, but you also got to know what you're going to put into it. Like the finishes are really important. Yeah, cool, Donivan. I look forward to seeing you soon, and if I see your family first, even better.
Alright, take care. Hello?
Donivan,
How you doing?
not bad yourself?
Good, good.
Cool. I'm just replying to your email, dude.
Yeah.
Do you see my reply?
You said 70.
We're going to come close to that number.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out, how did you get to 50? Yeah, but look, we all want to make money, but I have to start like a couple of grand, like 10, 20 grand. If you can make 20 grand in 2 months, that's more than what I make.
I'm thinking about the other cost that might go into it. That's the only thing that I have to take into account. And I'm looking
That's
at...
fine.
Yeah, so 20 grand in 2 months is good it sounds good, but that doesn't mean that's what I actually keep out of what I put into. And that's if nothing goes wrong at all, which, we all know that doesn't happen.
Like 50k is a shell. I mean, you'd be lucky. I mean, you want to maybe go to a sheriff's sale, you might pick one up for 35. But good luck. I mean, bidding with a bunch of other people.
I've seen a lot of shells in Philadelphia for far less than 50s. And what's the retail after they're fixed up? And you saying
it depends. It all depends where they are. I mean, it's really a case by case, and every area is changing. Like, I'm selling a shell now that's it's reached at 1,800 square feet, and it is like a bomb zone inside. I just got 180k cash for it. I've already got the contract with that one. I've already got a full asking.
Really?
Yeah, full asking cash, close on the 21st of December.
I know which property you're referring to, and that area would support a house being sold at $180,000 as a shell, because that's the new construction that you sold a couple of days ago.
It's not a new construction.
No. In the area, I'm saying there's a lot of new construction that supports that price. There's houses going for $300,000, $400,000. In this area, they don't really have prices going for that. So if you were going to sell a shell $50,000 in an area where prices are going for $400,000, that makes a lot of sense. But to sell a house for $50,000 and then the retail is only $110,000, that's not a good price.
With $10,000 work?
No, I'm talking about with a shell.
I mean, those numbers you're talking about, and everyone's dreaming about, alright, well, that's fine. You're not going to get it for 50k. I would be lucky. I could maybe stretch her to, like, I don't know, maybe 70. I can ask her maybe 65, but you're really pushing it, you know what I mean? Like, even at 65, it's a steal. I can maybe get it for, I can maybe ask the seller, would you be interested in, like, say, 65, or see what you would do. Then you got it for 75. Then you got your costs. I mean, that's a better margin than I get from people on the main line.
Okay, so what formula do you normally look at if you're investing in a property? What's your average formula? And I want to use that to see what this property is worth. Because if I'm using the average 70% formula that most people would use, at the minimum is 67.
Say you're going to shell for 35 and it's a shell, okay? How much do you think a 1,000 square foot home is going to need for that? It's going to need at least 50k, right? For a shell.
Okay.
Then you're going to look in these areas. If you're going to get it for 35, okay? And it's a shell. You're going to put dry. You've got to do the whole thing. You've got to do electrical. You've got to do plumbing. You've got to do drywall. You've got to put the kitchen in. You've got to put the bathroom in.
Okay.
You've got to put the AC. You've got to think that maybe a HVAC system or the window units, water heater, at least 50k.
A little bit more than that. I've talked to some people, but yeah, it's going to be more than 50.
I can't go over 50k, man. I mean, that's just...
I understand. I'm just curious what your formula would be for this property. You would buy it for $75,000 and put 10 in.
I'd buy it for 65.
I don't think that for 75, the house is worth $75,000. As an investor, I'm looking at it as an investment. So as an investment at 75, it doesn't fit.
He comes to me with 50. Like, I don't want to finagle and bargain with a client of mine like yourself. I want to be realistic. I can't be scraping the barrel with you and then going back to them. I just want it to be, like, realistic.
I think 65 is pretty fair.
I think 65 is fair. Yes, I do.
I'll have them meet up with you and that would
Do you
work.
know them?
Yeah.
Do you trust them?
I mean, trust them in what sense? As to do their job, yeah. Do I trust them with my family? You know.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
And she didn't use us as a property management company. She used someone else, and it was mismanaged. And then she comes running back to us, asking us to help her to sell it. And I'm like, well, this is the shit you got on your hands. I can't say she wants the 75, but I've said, no, look, I don't think you're going to get that. You know, she wanted 85. Was it 85? I bring it down to 80, then it's like 75. I told her it's worth 65. For
an actual investor, like I said, at 15, I'm gonna have somebody look at it. You say it's 15. You said it's 10. You told me 15 before.
My guy's 10.
Oh, your guy's 10. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, but he's cheap. I don't normally work with people that I don't really know. I have to know them because I don't know if they're just flakes. You know what I mean? If they go, I don't care if you smoke weed, do this, but if you start doing all that other shit, then I can't rely on you. It's important to know what their pastimes are. They can get fucked up. They start doing. If you get some fucking crackhead working on your place, then it's done. You know, you're halfway through, and then they're out the door. And it's even happened for a client of mine who has a $1.2 million property.
Yeah.
So he hired a guy. He's like, yeah, I've got a guy who does really good work. Yeah. So what happened? Yeah, he's in a rehab unit now, and half the place is half done, and he's living in it. Now I got to come and help him out. And so my guys are just busy. You know, the guys that I work with. You know, we're working on 10 projects right now. And there's another 10 in the loop. And then it just doesn't end. So, I would love it to work with people like yourself who have a trusted crew.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, sorry, Don, I was on another line.
No worries. How's it going?
How's your day? Not bad. Busy day. Just getting around.
Same here.
It's all good. Oh, cool.
So I looked at the comps you sent me, Mick. I don't know if I'm trying to pull my leg or something here. A lot of those properties aren't selling for $100,000.
All right, Donivan, I'm going to be clear, okay? You've asked me to come back on a 50. I've gone to my seller with the 60. She's come down. So we're sort of working backwards right now. If I'm having to go back to her and this is not going to work, then just tell me what you want to do, mate. Because I'm not being pushy here, but do you not want to do this? It's okay. I get it, but I'm going to have to be clear that you wanted 50 for it. You said 50, and I'm negotiating with her, and she's like very happy. Like she's sad she has to leave it. She's going to lose money. So you said that you knew I was on the street. You knew that I was there. But if you don't want to do this now, then it's sort of gone backwards that way, and it's not really fair to a seller to negotiate and then they come down 15K. And by the sound of your voice, you like said, when I said that, I want to see comps now. It's like that's going backwards to them. She's my client. Do you not want to do it?
I would love to do the deal if it works, because under the assumption that you originally. Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna tell you, because you told me that the houses in that area are going for 115. That's what you've told me before. I don't see anything that supports that. I don't have access to the MLS. So when you sent me the comps that from your list, they are not selling for that price. So how can I still have the same price if they are selling?
They're not selling for that price?
No. Did you see the list that you sent me?
Donovan, please, come on, man.
I don't know if you looked at it, because the properties on there are going for $80,000, $90,000, and honestly underneath that. And the properties that go for higher than that.
Did you see the interior of the properties?
Yes, some of them have been renovated.
Some have.
Right, and they're still going for under $100,000.
Some haven't. What about the 159s or the 130s or the 115s or there's even a 229 on there.
It's a whole different type of house. It's bigger and it has a porch and it has a whole different curb appeal. How can you compare the two houses if they don't look at all the same? You can't say that a house and then on top of that, for the house that we're talking about, to get to that price point, it would need way more than $17,000 worth of work to get to the price point that the houses that selling for 132 are selling at. I couldn't put 17 into it.
No investors come to me after the next day and say, I could do 50, it makes sense at 50. Then I'm like, okay, you've done your due diligence, and then you've come to me with the 50. So okay, well 50, I can try to do that, and I'm spending time going backwards and forwards to this lady who's in Australia, and now you've got your 60, your number, which would work, and you're telling me that I'm like blowing smoke up your ass, like I'm sending you bad comps and this and that. I can't in good faith work like that in that way, Donovan. It doesn't work that way. You can't come to me and say this is the number that works, this number works, and then now it doesn't work. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to understand. Are you saying that getting new information doesn't change the old information that I had? What do you mean by new information? You contacted me on the property. I'm trying to help you find properties. Then I said, this is the property there. I've shown you these comps, and if they're not right for you, or you're telling me this, then that's fine. That's okay. I don't have to. Look, I've got the inventory. I've got other inventory too. But when my clients say send them this or that, and I give them and I tell them what's in the area or what's going on, and then they come back with a number, say this number works. And then I negotiate with my client, and they're like, well, that's too low, and that's too low, but, who else can I, okay, fair enough, Nick, just go and do the deal. I can't be working like that. Well, it's very hard for me to work with an agent if I'm getting information that is not true to the property. If imagine this, if I go to the property, I'm not saying this is how it... Okay, all right. I can't say that. I'm sorry, but I'm the most stand-up guy there is, mate. I've seen so many guys in my business here who screw people over and this and that, and I've just come out and been honest, and you're telling me now that I'm sending you bad information. No, I didn't say you sent me bad information, Mick. That's not what I said. What I said was that the information that you sent me is not congruent with what you told me originally. It's not bad information. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing sent you from me. It's not the same thing. Because you sent me information that is... Well, look, I'll just tell the seller that this is not going to work for you anymore. 60,000 isn't going to do it. You don't want the property, and I'll just leave it. Okay. It's fine. I mean, listen, everybody cut ties. That's fine. Well, you don't want it now.
it's not gonna work at the price that you told me. So no, of course I can't. I don't want it.
Well, you told me 50,000. You just told me is 50,000 going to work for you?
I would have to relook at the comps and do the numbers again.
Okay, there you go. All right, well there you go. I mean that's the thing. Like you came to me with 50,000 would work. So, and you run the numbers. So now, so you've got the same access to the same information that I have. I have a bit more access because I can go back a year and this and that. You came to me and said it works at 50K.
Yes, and that was when I was all right. If the houses were selling at area for 115 to 120, then it would work. If I'm seeing houses that are selling at 80,000, there's not. We can pull it up. I don't know if you have time to sit down and look at it because that's not what I saw on there.
I got more time to work. I've already spent a couple of hours on this with you.
Right. So have I. Right.
Okay. Well, I've got a $2 million property that I'm going to go and negotiate on inside, and a 300,000 shell and a 180 shell, and I've got another one that I've got to put on the market now, and a triplex in Ogons that I've got to go and put on the market. You know, I can't be everything for everyone. You know, like it's your money too. Everyone has to do their own due diligence. I can only provide the stats that are there and what's on the ground. I'm not here to justify myself. I am justifying myself for what I said and what I do and make connections. But I'm not going to fight with you. I don't have to come across and say, "Oh, Mick, you told me this yesterday and that's that today." I can't have that. I don't. It's not going to be a healthy relationship with one of them.
I agree. It won't be very healthy if we're not having information that gets across to each other the right way. So I mean, if that's
what information am I not giving to you?
Okay, so originally you told me that the price of the house would retail at 115.
Yeah, it will.
Okay, I looked at the comp that you sent me. The houses that are renovated are going for close to $80,000 to $90,000, and those have a lot more renovation than the property that we're talking about. $17,000 is not gonna. And you told me. Hold on. You told me $10,000 would give me renovation costs for that. $10,000 is not gonna get me to a retail price of $90,000.
Well, maybe the people that you use, yeah, maybe they're more expensive. But I don't have to do this. It cost me $500 to put a kitchen in.
How are you getting a kitchen for $500? What kind of kitchen?
We make them.
You make the kitchen?
Is there an echo in here?
Come on.
We make them.
Okay, what? I don't understand. What do you mean by do you make the granite yourself and you make the refrigerator?
We don't put granite in can put granite in, but we make the kitchen. We have a cabinet maker.
Okay, what about the refrigerator?
We have a vendor who sells us refurbished fridges and stoves.
For how much? $50? $100?
Oh, dude, come on, man.
Come on, you're trying to tell me that you can renovate a whole kitchen.
No, look. If you want to start, this is not going right. I mean, $50, $100, what are you talking to? Come on.
Mate, you told me to renovate a kitchen for
I spent $1,200 on a stove and a fridge. A double door fridge and a stove. But I can't, I mean, look, you wanted to do this on your own. You wanted to do that stuff on your own. That's fine. I told you what I could do it for. Where's my benefit in this then?
The benefit will be the relationship of us doing deals down the line, but you're telling me right now that you can renovate a whole kitchen for $500.
I can't do a deal with someone who's really coming at me like that, or saying stuff like, "Well, I'm giving them bad information," or we all want to make money, but there's got. I'm going to say right now, the best deals in the world are when both sides aren't happy. I get a feeling that you're a little bit tentative and you want to be happy and someone else not being happy. And I can't, that's not how I work. Both sides of the deal have to be unhappy. That's the only good deal there is in this world. I can't work in good faith any other way.
I agree with that. Now, this is my concern with the relationship that we currently have. You just told me that you would spend $1,200 to buy appliances for the kitchen, but you would spend $500 to renovate the whole kitchen. That doesn't add up to me.
Appliances, it's like a kitchen, dude. A fridge and a stove. Like I just said, I spent $1,200 for a fridge and a stove.
How much you spend on cabinets?
I said again, $500.
On just cabinets? What about the floor and the sink? What about everything else in the kitchen?
It's the rider. It's just the rider, mate. kitchen. Depends what you're going to put on the floor, what laminate you're going to put in there. You're going to do a double sink. I know what the cabinet's got. It's a 5-foot rider. I know what I do. I'm not sure if you do it, but that's what I do. And I've done this 20 times before. So, I don't know why, am I helping you flip houses? Because you said that you have your own people that do it. So you come to me saying, I have my own guys. Okay, great. Use your own guys. That's fine. Everyone has their own way of working, Donivan. You can't come to me and say it works at 50 and then I go back and forth and then this lady's going to be, she's my client still. You hang up the phone to me, I've still got to list this house with her. I'm the one that has to deal with this now. Yeah.
Well, we talked about it before, last time we were on the phone, that the house is listed over what it's worth already. So I don't know who that would be on to list the house at a price that it's not worth. It's overvalued. So...
Well, look, no, you're... Now, okay, one other thing. Just got to understand in this business, I don't set the price, my sellers do.
Okay. I understand that.
No, you don't, because you just said that, well, your last sentence was insinuating that I put it at a price that I think it's going to sell for. I put it at a price that my sellers want to do. Now, she's prepared to sell it for 60K. If you don't want to buy it for 60K, that's fine. I'll get off the phone, I'll have to text her and say, I'm very sorry, but he's got buyer's remorse, he doesn't want it anymore.
Okay, you might have to let her know that then.
No, I've got to let her know that, and then it's done.
Okay.
Okay.
Selling. He was doing the thing hard. He was pulling out all the stops. Oh my God. Oh my God. Jesus.
What?
You heard it. You heard what he was doing. He was trying.
I had to. It was going on for too long.
He was trying to use emotion to get me to buy the property. You could hear it.
Yeah.
You could hear it. That's what he's doing.
He's like, come on, like.
Right?
But you can make if the numbers don't work, it's fine. Like you could just.
Bro, my man tried to tell me it's not about the numbers. You got to see it. I'm like.
And he's like, and when you see it, you gonna see that you don't need the numbers.
I'm like, yo, and like it's crazy because, like I said, I know what he's doing. When I watched Frederick do that, he's doing the same thing. The gay dude that does the real estate, he's doing that. Like I want you to watch. They don't have it up there. Like he is amazing at doing that. He'll be playful with you, and then you feel like you're friends, and he's like, you're just not gonna come on. I thought we were. Oh my God, you can't not gonna do this to me. You gonna do this to me? You gonna do this to me? I thought we was gonna get a drink after this. You're not gonna. Come on, listen. I want everybody to win. The seller has to get what they want. The issue I have is that I said 65. That's the issue that I have. I shouldn't have said that. I moved up. I knew I was gonna go up. Not 65 though. 60 is the number for it to be at. 65 is a little bit too high, depending on what the ARV is. If the ARV is like 115, then it would work. There's so many red flags that I saw, or so many signs that I saw. The first one is that he reached out to me too many times about this property. That's the first sign that he's desperate to sell this property. He reached out to me too many times. Because first he emailed me about it. And I responded like a little bit later. No, first he emailed me. I didn't respond. He texted me about it. I'm like, yeah, I seen the email. I didn't respond to that though. Then I took a couple days to respond to it. He responded back to me and said, oh, 50 is too low. Can you do 70? I didn't respond to that. So he's calling me now to try and get me to sell the property. Like, you can't do 50. We're scraping the barrel. We're nothing but the money to make. Right? Those are the first couple of signs. Then he tried telling me that he sells for $50,000. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. That means absolutely nothing. Where are you with the shell? The shell for 50 because it's in a better area. That's why I sell for $50,000. He's like, oh no, I sell shells all over the place. 50,000 doesn't matter. I'm like,
wait,
right? So then what he did was he thought I forgot because this is a sign to me that he is selling because he doesn't remember. Our first convo that we had was about the property that he sold that was a shell for $180,000. I remember that. He doesn't remember that we talked about that. So he's telling me, I just sold a shell for $180,000. It's on the market for 2 days. I'm like, I called you on the third day, so I know the market for 2 days. I know that. And he doesn't remember that. So when he said it, I'm like, that's the thing. You think I don't know about what happened before. And you're trying to sell me like I don't remember that. So I remember that. So I'm like, yes, that house you're talking about, new construction in the area. Isn't that new construction? I'm like, no. In the area, it was new construction. That's why that house, it was up $180,000 because the ARVs are $400 in the area. If the ARVs are $110,000, a shell is not selling for $50,000. He's changed the price it's going to be to fix the house multiple times. It was like 17, this could be like 20, and only 15, I'm telling you. If he was my guy, it's 10. It don't need that much work. You can put somebody in there right now. It's only $10,000. You gotta see it. It's $10,000, and then you just do a quick flip. You make $20K in 2 months. That's more than I make in 2 months.
Yeah, I heard him say that. I don't give a fuck about what you mean.
Right? Now, you think that's true?
No.
I think he made more than 10K in 2 months. I'm pretty sure as a person who has multiple properties like that, you would probably make, that could be 2 or 3 deals a month. You telling me you're not making 2 or 3 deals a month? But that's what he said. He's like, I don't even make 10,000. That'd be great. I wish I could make that. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a steal, right? For you. What other time?
How many you don't buy a property?
Right, that's what happened too. So that's another way that I knew that he was another sign. So I'm like, as an investor, I can't use his name because he was trying, listen, I've been in the game a little bit. He was trying his hardest to sell me on it. As an investor, how much did you buy this house for? Mm-hmm. How much did you pay for this house, right? I'm like, what's the formula that you would use? Man, I'm like, listen, the average formula that everybody uses 70% minus repair. That's an average formula that everybody would go by, right? If we're doing that, if we're just going by the average formula, the house is worth $67,000. This average formula. What are you going by, man? Because I don't know what you're going by. Let me know what you're going by for this house. 67, but you're going to put 10 and then you add 80, flip it, you get 4. I'm like, just because I made $20,000 in 2 months, I got to pay for clothes. I got to pay closing costs. I got to pay insurance if I keep it, all kinds of stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm not so. How much would you buy this house for? He's like, I will buy 65, but it's not about me. It's about the seller. It's not about the seller. I'm like, listen. The seller's not here. Remove the seller. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you as an investor. How would you pay for this house? He's like, I will pay 65. I'm like, so why are you trying to tell me that it's 70? Why are you trying to tell me it's 75? What are you talking about? You know 65, but this is the thing though. You know what? The house was 65. The house is definitely worth $65,000. I know it's worth 65. They know it's worth 65. You know it's worth 65. Everybody knows it's worth 65. I'm like, 20 minutes ago it was worth $75,000. Now we all know $65,000. I'm like, come on. Oh, one more. So 2 more things. 3 more things. Listen, he was trying everything. So then he started bringing up the contractor, right? He trying to A-mod me.
And he was like, what kind of contractor you using? Do you trust your contractor? I trust what? I heard that part.
Do you know he's trying to tell me that he has a property that one of his owners own, one of the people that he knows own the property, $1.2 million, Donivan. Did you know $1.2 million? And they hired a contractor that they said was a good contractor. They thought it was a good contractor. You know he was smoking crack on the property. He was a crackhead. He's in the hospital right now. He's in the hospital. Yes. He's in the hospital right now.
I don't believe that, Donivan. I don't believe he pulled a Trump.
He said his name's on crack. He said the contractor was smoking crack in the property.
I don't believe what you're saying to me right now. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I refuse.
Like, because this is what he's trying to play me. He's trying to put it like, because this is, I was saying that I have a contractor, he tried to spin it so many times. I was saying I have a contractor to come look at it, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, first I said I would have the family come look at it. I'm like, yeah, you know, she has some Airbnb rentals, things like that. She's doing that right now. But she's not going to be in the city. She left. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, you know, actually, I don't even think it would be good for you to have a family member come. You shouldn't have a family member come. Even though he started off by asking me when my family members are going to come. He's like, yeah, you shouldn't have that. It would be better if a contractor came here to come see. If you need a contractor to come see the work and they can tell you how much it needs. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. Then it was, so how well do you trust your contractor? How well do you trust, like, what kind of, do you trust him? Do you trust your contractor? I'm like,
I'm supposed to trust you over the contractor.
I'm like, so I'm like, do I trust him? I'm like, yeah, I trust him to do the work. I wouldn't trust him with my kids. He's like, yeah, you know, that's that right. Me neither. You know, it's a work relationship. I'm like, exactly. We have a trusting work relationship, right? Then it was, after that, listen, I don't like working with nobody that I can't get a drink with. If I can't get a drink with them, I don't want to work with that kind of person. I don't work with nobody. I want to know your pastimes. What are your pastimes? I need to know what your pastimes are.
What the fuck that got to do with the house?
That's when the crack line came in. About he knows the person that was a contractor that they trusted, and they started doing crack, and now they're in the hospital.
What's that got to do?
Because he wants me to use his contractor.
But was the work good though?
Who?
Of the
crackhead?
Yeah.
He didn't finish because he was doing crack. He was smoking crack.
Because you can do the crack if the work good. I don't really care. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Smoking crack and he couldn't finish, right? So I'm like, so then he's going on about, listen, man, I gotta sit down with them. I gotta be able to get a drink. I drink a beer with all the people I work with. Everybody I work with, I drink a beer with. We're close. I drink a beer with all of them. I'm like, He's like, yeah, I want to know the pastimes of everybody that I work with. I'm like, 5 minutes ago, it was, we only have work relationships. It's just we go to work and that's it. I trust you for the work.
No,
now it's
the beer.
Now we gotta have beer together, right? Then he was going. He was pulling out all the cards. And like I said, I definitely didn't get 100. I got myself like a 90, 89, 93, somewhere in that range. Only because 50 is definitely too low. I know 50 is low. 60 could get it done. 65, I don't know. 65 at the price of 110 of the ARV. 115, I think I was to go for 115. But it's like,
What's the repair cost?
according to him, it's $10,000.
I've never seen that. Let me talk about
So he's saying the house gonna be what? What is that? $10 a square foot?
If you're saying that the house is $60, it's $60, and you say the ARV is 110, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 50K left. Is it a deal for Jerry?
No.
Oh.
This one would be good. No, absolutely not. This one works for Jerry.
I like it.
Because that's 40K. Jerry would want. It would work with Jerry at 50K.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work.
Yeah, because I'm like, you don't have no renovations and
And I know it's not gonna 10K renovation. You know what 10K gets you? A bathroom, maybe. A 10K gets you a deck, a nice deck. My dad's kitchen cost 10K, I think. Close to that, maybe. It might have been close to that. Just the kitchen alone. You're not gonna tell me. And this house is 1,100 square feet. So let me see. That's like $10 a square. You about to tell me $9 a square foot? Watch this shit. Watch this. 1134. No. 10,000 divided by 1134. It's $8 a square foot, Melissa. Have you ever seen a rehab cost $8 a square foot?
a rehab?
Anything, any work costs $8 a square foot. Have you ever heard anybody ever say, I'm gonna spend $8 a square foot on this property? You know what Jerry says? That's about the paint cost. He be like, I spent $5 per square foot on paint. Right? So you tell them to come in and paint the house? That's all we do is paint this house?
Yeah. That should be enough, right?
Bro, he's playing games. And I know what's gonna happen. I know him. He's gonna try, because he wants me to send my contractor, right? So he can sweet talk him he's trying to do me. That's what he's gonna try and do. I know he's good. He's definitely good. That's what he's gonna try and do. He's gonna try and sweet talk the person and be like, yo, come on. Yo, tell him, yo, you don't even need 10. You really need 10. Just listen. All you gotta do is put a new toilet. How much that cost? $800, right? Put a new toilet. Come on now. Put some new lights. That $50? A new light bulb in there. I'll buy it for you right now. I'll buy light bulbs for you and I'll put it in there. Right now, you wanna do that? I'll do it. Somebody give me a ladder. Give me a ladder. I'll do it right now. And the guy would be like,
Donivan, why you like this?
bruh, because I know what kind of person he is. I know it. He's gonna be finessing. He's gonna be fake finessing. Like, you need help? I got you. I'm gonna do the work for you. I got what you need me to do. Right? So, this house, it's worth 115 right now. All you change the light bulb. Imagine if you put 5 more K into this. Imagine. Could you imagine that? You can't even imagine that. It's like, man.
Maybe you fix the house yourself.
Bruh, now my thing is, why don't you buy the house then? I should ask him, why don't you buy the house? Because you know it's not worth $75,000. That's why you didn't buy the house.
He already told you. You have to buy the 65. Bruh. But it's not about him.
I'm like, and I said, then he started, then, this is what was the funny thing to me too. This is hilarious. I said to him, I'm like, yo, 70% is the average, right? I'm like, at 70% average, you get it's $67,000 for this house with your renovation that you gave me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I haven't seen what you gave me. I said, how much this house is worth? He goes, I can't come down from 75. It's not. I can come down to 70. I'm like, you just told me that the house was 65,000. How are you gonna follow up after you told me that already? That now the house is worth 70,000. Then he's like, well, I didn't tell him. I'm just thinking that. He's like, yeah, you know, all right, if I'm doing the math, yeah, $70,000 definitely. It's definitely 70. I'm like, we just did the math. You know it's not 70. Why you keep saying 70? Then he came down again like, all right, you know what? Yeah, you were all right. 65. I would buy the 65. You would get 65. They happy. Then he tried to A-mog the seller. I asked, why are they selling? Like, what's going on with this? What's the issue? Are they renting it before? Were they moved? What happened? So they're from Australia, according to him, right? They do deals with people overseas. That's what they do.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Right, that's what they do. So they buy properties for them. I was like, okay. So what happened to this one? Why is she selling it? Well, she decided she's going to use us to buy the property, right? But then she decided that she was going to use another. We have a property management company. She knows this, but she didn't want to use us. She decided she going to use somebody else. So what she do? She come crying back to us when they don't manage the property right, and now she wants us to fix it for her. She wants to sell it for her because they want to manage it right. I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy, right? He goes, I told her that this house is not worth. You know, she told me $85,000. She said this house is worth $85,000, and I said it's not worth $85,000. I told her it's worth $65,000.
What? Nah, he ain't said that to you. He ain't said that to you.
Melissa.
He ain't said
Melissa, I'm like, what are you talking about? You tried to argue that it's 70. And then you try to argue that you won't go to 70 because 75 is good. And you say 70 is too low, but you try to come down to 70. And then you try to tell me that you told her. He said, yeah, you know, you try to list it for $85,000. Where you from? I said, that's crazy. You can't change this is what you told her. You can't take $85,000. I said, hey, listen, we come down to 80. And I told her, maybe you get 75, but it worth 65. I'm like, whatever you say, fam. If that's what you believe.
Yeah, this week's, yeah, you should put that in your notes.
Bruh. You tried it. You tried it. Tried to A-mark with the buyer's remorse comment. Listen. You tried to go down to 50 on the phone.
Yeah. You said when you said bye the first time, he was like, what? I thought you wanted to 50. Nah, I'm glad that's recorded. That's insane.
I knew it was gonna go. I knew something like that was gonna happen. Cause I know what he's doing. He's playing all the games. I just don't know what the yeah, he's playing a lot of games right now. And honestly, I don't know if he even talked to the person or not.